You know, one of the first things I ask my patients isn't about their blood pressure or cholesterol. It's this: how do your legs feel these days? Most of them pause, then smile a little and say, "Well, doc, they're slower than they used to be." Some laugh it off. Others confess quietly. They ache at night. They cramp. Sometimes they just feel tired. And I always tell them, you're not alone, because for most of us, the very first sign of aging doesn't show in the mirror. It shows in the legs that carry us through life. Think about it. Your legs are the quiet workhorses of your body. They've climbed every hill, walked every mile, stood through every chapter of your life. And yet, as we get older, they're often the first to whisper that something deeper is changing. A slow, silent decline in the very thing that keeps us alive: our blood flow. When circulation weakens, your legs feel it first. They grow heavy, cold, restless. But here's the beautiful truth. This isn't just old age. It's your body asking for care, not surrender. Today, I want to show you how to listen to those whispers, and how 5 simple, powerful foods can help you rekindle strength, warmth, and life in your legs again. Because your legs aren't giving up on you, they're asking you to take them back to life. I want you to picture your bloodstream as a great river, flowing through thousands of tiny channels, carrying oxygen and life to every cell in your body. When we're young, that river moves freely, clear and strong. But over the years, little by little, things begin to change. Tiny bits of cholesterol, fat and calcium start to collect along the inner walls of those arteries, like rust building up in old pipes. Doctors call it atherosclerosis, but I call it the silent clog, because you don't feel it right away. You only start to notice it when your legs begin to whisper. A coldness that doesn't go away, a dull ache when you walk, or a sudden cramp that wakes you in the middle of the night. For some, it begins as a tingling, pins and needles in the feet. For others, the color of the skin changes, or small veins begin to bulge. These aren't random annoyances. They're your body's early warning system, trying to tell you, hey, the blood isn't getting through. And if that blood flow continues to slow, wounds heal more slowly, infections become more dangerous, and in severe cases, even walking can feel like a battle. But here's the good news. Just as rivers can be cleared and flow freely again, your arteries can heal too, when you stop what's clogging them and start feeding them what they need to repair. That's where our journey truly begins. Before we can rebuild healthy circulation, we have to clear the path. It's just like fixing an old garden hose. There's no point adding more water until you remove what's blocking the flow. Every week I meet patients who tell me, "Doctor, I eat pretty healthy, but my legs still ache." And when we look closer, we find the same silent saboteurs hiding in plain sight. The first is alcohol. Now, I know a glass of wine with dinner can feel comforting, but excessive drinking quietly scars the delicate lining of your blood vessels. It makes them stiff, inflamed, and tired. Then there's smoking, and yes, that includes vaping. Tobacco doesn't just hurt your lungs, it burns the life right out of your arteries. I once had a patient, a man in his early 70s, who swore by his 1 cigarette a day. But even that single stick was enough to keep his circulation locked in a permanent winter. Next comes salt. Not the pinch on your table, but the mountain hiding in packaged foods. Those convenient frozen dinners, canned soups, and healthy snacks often hold more sodium than your heart can handle. Over time, that constant pressure scrapes your artery walls, creating tiny wounds that attract cholesterol like glue. And when you mix all that with ultra-processed foods, the ones that promise low fat or low calorie but are packed with chemicals, you get a recipe for slow, silent damage. So before we talk about healing foods, we must first make this promise: to stop feeding the fire that's burning our rivers dry. A few years ago, I met a woman named Margaret. She was 68, bright, kind, the kind of person who never missed her morning walk. But lately her legs had started to ache. Her doctor told her her cholesterol was high, and she carried stubborn fat around her waist. When she came to me, she said softly, "Dr. Ben, I just feel heavy, inside and out." So we made one simple change. I asked her to replace the meat in her lunch with beans, lentils, black beans, chickpeas, 5 days a week. Nothing fancy, no supplements, no expensive powders, just beans. 3 months later, Margaret came back glowing. Her LDL, that bad cholesterol, had dropped by nearly 20 points. But what truly moved her wasn't the number. She said, "Doc, I have energy again. My legs don't ache the way they used to." You see, beans are more than food. They're nature's internal broom. The soluble fiber in beans binds to cholesterol and carries it out of your body before it can cling to your arteries. And here's something fascinating. That same fiber feeds the good bacteria in your gut. When those tiny allies thrive, they release compounds that reduce inflammation throughout your entire body, even in your blood vessels. So when you eat a simple bowl of lentil soup, you're not just feeding yourself. You're feeding the army that protects your heart, your legs, and your life. Isn't it amazing how something as ordinary as a carrot can hold so much power? That bright orange color you see isn't just beauty, it's nature's signal that healing lives inside. Carrots are rich in compounds called carotenoids, powerful antioxidants that protect your arteries at the deepest level. You see, one of the first steps in artery damage begins when bad cholesterol, LDL, becomes oxidized. Think of it like metal rusting. Once that rust begins, it sticks, hardens, and builds plaque. But carotenoids act like little shields in your bloodstream. They prevent that oxidation before it starts, keeping your arteries smooth, flexible, and strong. I remember a patient named George, 72 years old, retired teacher, gentle soul. He told me he'd eaten carrots all his life, but never realized what they were doing for him. When we added just 1 cup of lightly roasted carrots with olive oil to his dinner every evening, his blood tests and his energy changed in ways he could feel. "Doc," he said, "my legs feel lighter. I can walk to the park again without stopping." And that's the thing. When your blood flows freely, life feels lighter too. So next time you see a carrot, don't think of it as just a vegetable. Think of it as sunlight you can eat. A daily reminder that color, warmth, and healing still belong to you. There's a reason garlic has been called the heart's oldest friend. For thousands of years, across every culture, people have used it not just to flavor their food, but to keep their blood and spirit alive. I remember one patient, Mr. Lawson, 70 years old, a proud grandfather who loved his daily walks. But one day he told me, "Doc, I can't even make it to the mailbox without my calves locking up." He was developing the early stages of peripheral artery disease. His legs simply weren't getting enough blood. We didn't start with a pill, we started with a pan. I asked him to sauté a few cloves of garlic with olive oil every evening to make it part of his dinner ritual, simple, natural, consistent. 6 months later, he came back beaming. "Doc," he said, "I just walked around my whole neighborhood without stopping." His pain-free distance had tripled. The change was real, and measurable. You see, the active compounds in garlic help lower LDL cholesterol and prevent it from oxidizing, stopping that rust from forming inside your arteries. They also gently relax and widen your blood vessels, improving circulation right down to your legs and feet. But one important note: garlic can thin your blood naturally. So if you're taking a blood thinner or aspirin, talk with your doctor first. For most of us, though, a little cooked garlic each day is a beautiful reminder that medicine doesn't always come in a bottle. Sometimes it sizzles quietly in your kitchen. You might be surprised when I tell you this, but one of the most heart-friendly foods on earth is something most of us already love: dark chocolate. Now, I'm not talking about the sugary candy bars wrapped in shiny foil. I mean real dark chocolate, the kind that's at least 70% cacao. That's where the magic lives. Inside those cacao beans are compounds called flavonols, tiny but powerful antioxidants that help your arteries stay flexible and young. They boost something called nitric oxide, which tells your blood vessels to relax and open up. When that happens, blood can flow more freely, bringing oxygen to your legs, your heart, even your brain. I once had a patient, Mrs. Porter, who used to joke that her doctor told her to eat chocolate. But it wasn't a joke. It was her nightly ritual. Just one small square after dinner. Over time, her blood pressure improved, her legs stopped cramping at night, and she told me, "Doc, that's the happiest prescription I've ever filled." Science even shows that these flavonols may help your body repair itself by mobilizing stem cells from the bone marrow, nature's own repair crew. There's just one rule: the darker, the better. Choose quality chocolate, low in sugar, and enjoy it slowly, like medicine for the soul. Because sometimes caring for your heart doesn't mean giving something up. It means rediscovering joy, one square at a time. When I think about healing, I don't just think about medicine or diet plans. I think about moments like this: quiet, warm, peaceful. And few things capture that feeling better than a simple cup of black tea. While green tea often gets all the praise, black tea carries its own kind of wisdom. The leaves are fermented, aged and transformed, just like we are over time. That process creates powerful antioxidants called theaflavins and catechins. These compounds have been shown to improve blood vessel function, reduce inflammation, and protect the delicate lining inside your arteries, the endothelium, where true vitality begins. One of my patients, Ellen, used to replace her afternoon soda with a cup of black tea. She told me, "Doc, it's become my little ritual, 10 minutes just for me." After a few months, her energy improved. Her legs didn't swell as they used to, and her blood pressure quietly settled into a healthy range. You see, it wasn't just the tea, it was the stillness that came with it. Black tea reminds us that strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers through a calm moment, a steady heartbeat, a slow sip. Drink it plain, without sugar or milk, and let its warmth remind you. Healing often starts not with doing more, but with being still long enough to let your body remember how. Food is powerful. It's where healing begins. But what you do with each day, that's what keeps your blood alive. If there's one thing I've learned after decades as a doctor, it's this: your arteries don't just need medicine, they need movement. A simple walk every single day is one of the greatest gifts you can give yourself. I tell my patients, don't walk to exercise, walk to remember that you're still alive. Because when you move, your blood begins to sing again. It flows, it nourishes, It clears away what's been stuck, not just in your body, but in your heart. And then there's stillness. In our rush to do more, we forget that healing also needs quiet. Stress is like a hidden storm, tightening every vessel, flooding your body with inflammation. But a few minutes of slow breathing, a whispered prayer, a moment of gratitude, that's medicine too. Your gut, that silent world within you, also listens. Feed it gently, with beans, carrots, whole foods. A healthy gut cools the fire of inflammation that weakens your circulation. And remember, how you cook matters. Steam, simmer, roast. Don't burn what nature made to heal you. Gentle cooking mirrors gentle living. Healing isn't found in a hurry. It lives in rhythm, in small, faithful acts repeated daily. A nourishing meal, a quiet walk, a moment of peace. That's how you remind your body you are still capable of healing. You know, after more than 40 years in medicine, I've come to understand something that no medical degree could ever teach me. The body never stops trying. Even when you feel weak, tired, or worn down, your body is still fighting for you every single moment. Every heartbeat, every breath, every small pulse in your legs. It's your body saying, I'm still here. I still believe in you. And maybe that's the most profound truth of all. Healing isn't about forcing the body to do something new. It's about remembering that it already knows how. I've seen this again and again in patients who thought their time had passed. One man in his 70s told me, "Doc, my legs just don't have it anymore." 6 months later, after small, steady changes, better food, gentle walks, quiet faith, he looked at me and said, "They still work. They just needed another chance." That's what this journey is about. Not chasing youth, not denying age, but honoring the life that's still within you. Because the truth is, aging isn't the end of vitality. It's an invitation to live differently, more intentionally, more kindly. Your body isn't punishing you for growing older. It's simply asking you to slow down and listen, to feed it with what's real, to move it with love, to rest it with peace. The legs that ache at night, they're not failing you. They're whispering that your blood needs movement. The fatigue you feel, it's not weakness. It's your body asking for gentleness, not more effort. And the moment you start listening, truly listening, things begin to change. Your blood finds its rhythm again. Your heart beats steadier. Your mind clears. Your spirit lifts. Healing isn't a single grand act. It's a quiet collection of small choices repeated over time. A bowl of lentil soup instead of something frozen. A handful of carrots instead of chips. A slow walk instead of sitting in regret. These little things, they matter. They always have. So tonight, when the house is quiet and your legs finally rest, take a moment. Place your hand over your chest. Feel that steady beat. That is life, still flowing, still faithful, still yours. And whisper back to it, I'm still here too. I'm listening. I'm ready. Because no matter your age, no matter how many years have passed, your body hasn't forgotten how to heal. It's only been waiting for you to believe it again. Soft music swells. Dr. Ben smiles gently. Take that first small step tomorrow. And let that be the start of your return to life.